Yep. Excellent. They've actually come all the way from Geelong. They're from Deakin University after their first trimester. So thank you so much for coming along. Then also, who here is a froyo? So those friends of the young optometrists, those who don't quite fall under the 10 years ago. Thank you. Thanks for coming. And now for all of those who fall within the category. So those with, within 10 years of graduation. Yeah, excellent. Okay. Now, out of interest, who here currently works for an independent practice? Just so we know. Wow, that's a lot of you. And who here works for Luxottica? Don't be shy. And what about those who work for Specsavers? Woo, good, good. And who here currently owns their own practice? Yep, excellent. And who's currently locuming? Yep, working in research? Oh, wow. And who here have I failed to mention? Vicky? Okay, very good. So, and who, just out of interest, has plans to one day maybe open up their own practice, just maybe thinking about it, even just slightest bit? Yeah. Okay, so for all of you who are interested, there is an event at Oddmer Fair designed just for you guys, so make sure you RSVP if you do go. Yeah, so to give you a rundown of what's happening today, firstly, we'll have Andrew McKinnon, as you all know, the CEO of Optometry Australia New South Wales and ACT division, currently miming. He's going to speak to us about the current optometry climate. Then this will be followed by our 5 passionate optometrists who will share a bit about their lives with you, followed by splitting up into little groups to discuss possible solutions to having too many optometrists. So no matter what kind of optometrist you currently are, our hope is that the young optometrist group, what we want you to gain is some insight into the possibilities as to where your career will go, and to together figure out where we want to go for our next step forward as a profession. So if we could all please put our hands together for Andrew. I think you need to hold this or something.
I have to speak into the space station. All right, sorry, let me get set up here so I don't run over time. My passionate thing is not running over time. Good morning. What a great way to spend a Sunday morning in a pub. This is sensational. Look, it is great to see so many of you along here today, and I hope at the end of what I've got to say, and certainly my colleagues here, you're not daunted, but you're inspired. That's what I want you to be at the end of today. Let's have a look. So I'm just going to start by giving you a bit of an idea of where we are, and maybe some ideas about where you could go, and then you'll hear from people who've really done it rather than me who's just theorising about it. Okay, the title is Too Many Optometrists. How many is too many? For those of you in private practice in Bondi, there's about 21 too many. There's a hell of a lot of people in different places. But look, this is not something unique to optometry. Let's just have a quick look. Bloody glad you're not doing law, aren't you? 27 law schools in Australia, and a recent thing by a group called Beyond Law. This guy runs it, Jason Liu. Out of 12,000 graduates a year, 12,000 law graduates a year, 700 will end up with a job in one of the big firms. The other 11,300 are going to be wondering what the hell I'm doing next week. So there are more law graduates studying than there are lawyers practicing. So you're not that bad yet. There's 19 physiotherapy schools around Australia, 18 pharmacy schools, 9 podiatry schools. You wouldn't think you'd need that many to do feet, would you? 8 dental schools. And guess what? We've only got 5. We're killing it. We could double it and still not be anywhere near the big guns. Now look, that's what the market looks like, and this is because of deregulation in the tertiary sector. So don't blame Fiona Stapleton. This is just how governments play the game in the 2000s. How many optoms have we got? About 10 years ago, we were graduating, give or take, these numbers are all rubbery, as any university number is, about 190. When we come to the end of this year, there will be about 300 of you coming out onto the market amongst all the schools. Goes up a bit, After that, because there's a big year coming through, certainly at UNSW, around about 350. These are all give or take, but they're indicative. And then, providing that the people up the hill at UNSW and the people running Melbourne don't decide they need more optometrists, we'll drop back a bit to about 300. So that's roughly where you are in terms of numbers coming into the market on a year-to-year basis. One of the things we have to remember is, although we're a health profession, a lot of what we do and a lot of the success of the profession is driven by the retail market. And so the retail market has had an absolute pasting over the last few years, as you all well know. But it seems to be starting to pick up. My sense when I talk to people is that it's getting better. This guy who gets paid probably a bucket of money to sit and look at the market and pontificate on what retail looks like reckons it's getting better as well. And as I looked through preparing for today, a lot of the sentiment was, yes, the market is improving. Dom, do you think the market's improving? Yeah? Yeah? Will, what do you reckon? Is it going up?
Certainly, some of the stimulus packages that the government's given us is driving some sales for us towards the end of financial year and really into the next year. But I'd say we're still, I'm a little bit trepidatious in how I feel the retail market.
Okay. So you can tell from that it is not breaking down doors just yet. But it's not dreadful. It's not right at the bottom of the cycle. Okay. My wife is studying to be a dog trainer, hence the question. You could have been a dog trainer because they do make bucket loads of money. You wouldn't believe how much people will pay to get you to teach their dog to sit on a chair. However, what I want you to do today and beyond that is, as it says here, think outside the box. Little story. About 35 years ago, when Steve was just a young grad, and Liz was probably in primary school, and some of you possibly weren't even born. There was a group of optoms got together because they had a vision. And they could see that optometry for them needed to change. Over that time, over the period of going from we've got an idea to getting that idea into play, took the best part of 25 years. You have to be persistent if you want change to happen. So be aware that whatever you decide to do will not happen tomorrow. That change I'm referring to is called ocular therapeutics. From about 1980 to about 2005 was the time it took to overcome impossible hurdles, dogged opposition, and get to what you now regard as just a normal part of practice. But it took a hell of a lot of work to get there. Where could you go? What could you do? I'm going to go through these quickly because Megan's just given me a wind-up. There's lots of places and things to do, but you have to start thinking about what you can do, and not only the current one, other things as well. There's all sorts of areas of opportunity that we haven't yet explored. Not that I'm wanting to send any of you overseas. Of course, we love you all, but if you want to go overseas, there are a lot of opportunities there. A lot of really unusual things that we can do. 35 years ago, the people opposed to going to ocular therapeutics said, "You're mad, you'll never get it done, it won't happen." It did. Took a bit of dogged determination, but it did happen. There's a whole lot of stuff we could do. Why couldn't we get Gerard Sutton to supervise 10 optometrists doing cataract surgery? Don't know. Haven't asked him yet. I haven't got him drunk enough to get him anywhere near being willing to talk to me about it. But there's all sorts of things. Was that you giving me a wind-up? Right. Quote to finish off from the man who was called the athlete of the century in the late 20th century. And it's true. When you read that, impossible is nothing. It is simply a word put up by people who want to make you think you can't do something. If you're willing to really go outside the box and challenge yourself and the status quo, you can do it. But you've got to be persistent, and you've got to know what you want to do and have a singular focus on getting there. You can do it. Today's a good place to start. Thanks very much.
Thanks for that, Andrew. That's right. So everybody, think outside the box.